Hello again, my friends. It's Ron here from IT Tidbits, your tech knowledge at work, and welcome to session 2 in my PowerShell Basics series. Today I want to go over the PowerShell console and the integrated scripting environment, or what we call the ISE, and show you how to navigate around in them. The first thing I'd like to start off with is the console. The console is not PowerShell. PowerShell itself runs underneath the console. And the console is very basic. It's not as prolific as the scripting environment, but it does have some of the similar features. First of all, when you open this, and we talked about this in the last series, you're going to want to go into the properties and kick up your font size. I like to do about a 20. If you have really good eyes, you should still think about kicking this font size up. And again, to be able to tell the difference between that parenthesis and the brace. And really all the functions are right here under the properties. You can change your buffer size, your command history, to hold more than 50 commands if you want, if you do a lot of work in this environment. The console itself is more for just doing your day-to-day one-off commands. It's a way to interact with the PowerShell system, much like your old Linux terminal emulator. It's not really where you're going to create scripts, it's just where you're going to run your commands to do basic day-to-day work. So in here you can change the buffer size, the number of buffers. You can even make the cursor bigger if you'd like. Got that nice big bar there that you can see flashing. One of the other things that you can really do in here, besides just typing your commands, it has copy, paste, select all, but they work a little different. Let's say I was going to do a get AD computer. And I typed out my filter. I just wanted to get the names like RDR star. But then I wanted to copy that command to use for something later. You can't just do a Control-C and Control-V. Those commands don't work like they do in Windows and DOS emulator. What you have to do is first go to Edit and Mark, which is Control-M. So we do a Control-M, then we can select what we want. And then to copy it, you just hit Enter. And then when you want to paste, it's Control-V to paste. So it's a little different, just something to keep in mind. Of course, you can also just go to the Edit menu. Control-A is still there, select all. Control-V is paste. Mark is Control-M, and copy is Enter. It has some neat functions built in. The first thing is Tabcompletion, where you can start to type a command and hit the Tab button, and it'll cycle through the commands or modules it knows about. That's a nice feature. That also helps us if we're doing a directory listing. Let's say I want to start in C. Well, if I start typing, it'll just cycle through everything it sees in the root of C. Of course, you can just do the dir and see everything. That out again. Third thing that I wanted to show you about Tabcompletion. Say you have your command, but you don't know what options you have. If you type your command and then hit your hyphen, the hyphen denotes that it's a command option, then you can just start tabbing through, and based on that command, it will show you all of the available options for those commands. So let's exit this. Let's start up our PowerShell. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but once again, running as administrator. See the administrator window up there? Keep that in mind. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the integrated scripting environment. This is what the ISE stands for. So we're going to right click, we're going to launch that ISE, again running as administrator. And this interface, a little more going on here. As I said in my first video, I'd like having all these options. So let's talk a little bit about this. The first piece you see here, this is called the script editor pane. This is where you would write your script. I would type my commands in here, hit the run button, and I could run my script. Down below, this window is called the console pane, black and white console, just like before. This is where you can see the results of your command. So if I say get the ACL of C Windows, hit run, down below we see the results of that command. Over here on the side, we have the Command Explorer. This is a nice little feature where if you're not sure about a command, well, you can just bring it up here and look at it. And you can show the details of the command, which it'll bring up and give you. So let's say I was looking up get AD computer. but I wasn't sure of the format. I can select the command, put in my filter, let's say my server was run test, and my domain, my search space was rdrlocal.com. So I can put in my command as I want it and then hit insert, and it'll insert my command. I could also hit run, and it would run that command. Or I can hit copy and then paste, and there's my command right there. The idea is to show you, it gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're not sure about the command and what you want to do. It's also nice just to be able to look at the different modules you have loaded and get a look at those commands and common parameters down here as well. This is how it comes up by default. Maybe you don't want all three of those. Maybe you want a full-blown command window. Hide the scripting pane. Well, see this little blue arrow up here? Hide script pane. We click on that. Now you got a full-blown command window. Great if you're working on something and you really can't see the output very well. You can also change the position of the command window or get rid of it altogether. Here I can say show command window. Pops up a window here of the commands, so we don't really need this here. We can just pop it up as needed. And it's all the same functionality. We can select the command, show the details of the command, and it shows us common parameters as well as the parameters of the command. Or we can have our pane over here where we look them up. I like to close this. I don't go to the command window a lot. When I do, I'll just pop it up when I need it. We can also change the positions of these windows. Maybe I like my setup like this, where my console is on the left and my command script is on the right. Maybe I just want a full-blown here because I'm just searching through the written script, looking through lines of code to figure out where my typos are or change variables. Okay, or we can go back to the original of having the script editor pane at the top and the console pane at the bottom. Just as we were talking before, in the console, we can do the same thing in the script editor. I can start typing a command and tab through all the options. I can hit my hyphen and start tabbing through all of the options that come with that command. Maybe I'm looking for a folder. I can tab through and look up my folders. Notice as I start typing a command, I get this pop-up window. This is a feature built into the scripting editor called IntelliSense. It's the script editor trying to figure out what it is I'm looking for and give me a pop-up visual display as we go. So I can do my ACL, and then if you look over here on the side, it shows us the basic options for the ACL. Same thing here. If I hit the hyphen, it shows all the commands, and I could just arrow down and pick one. I don't have to tab through to get all of them. I can start just by typing the first letter of the command, verbose. So multiple options to get to your switches and filters and how to format this command. I really like the command window, the show command window, especially when it's formatting time and you're not sure how you want to format a command. This is really helpful to figure out how you want to do this. And we'll talk more about the help functions. I'm just really showing you how to navigate the console itself right now. Next up, let's show you cut and paste in here. Got your get ACL command with your filter, verbose, and you want to cut and paste. So you can hold your shift to select. You can do control all to select. You're still marking like you did in the console, but you don't have to activate mark. You just hold the shift button and select, or control A to select all, control C to copy, control V to paste. The very last thing I want to show you is PS version table. Okay, PS version table is the variable that shows you what version of PowerShell you're running. Not all commands work the same way in every version of PowerShell. If you've got an older machine, say Windows XP that you've installed it manually, or Windows 7, Windows Vista, PowerShell is going to function differently in those versions versus what's on your Windows 10 machine when it's fully patched up. The PS version table, when you have it show you that, you'll get to see the version you're running. You'll get to see what versions are compatible with you. This is very handy because this points you to the .NET version it's using. It's running on .NET 4.0. So just another way, this is handy, especially if we're doing PowerShell remoting and I'm not getting my command to do what I want. I can remote into a PS version table and it will show me, oh, well, that machine's running version 2.0. This command only works in 4 and above. And as always, I'd like to leave you with a little script action here. So I've got a script here I wrote years ago, 2011 actually. This is a handy little script that we had an issue where we had temp files that weren't getting deleted on a regular basis, and the users need to be notified because they had to go in and delete those manually. So just like before, I've set the data I'm working with to a variable. And this particular variable, I've set it to files because that's what I'm working with. And I was looking in the temp directory, getting everything in the temp directory where the last write time was less than 15 minutes, minus 15 minutes. Basically, this said anything that's been here 15 minutes or more, I need to get rid of. And then I would say, if I did get any files, let's send an email out. And this is a neat little email function you can use. I've changed this system here to have my personal information. Who we're using for email, mail.comcast.net. Who am I sending it from? Well, that's me. Who am I sending it to? And here I can put multiple email addresses separated by commas. You can use email groups, distribution lists, whatever you want. A message subject, the body of the message. And in this one, I didn't really create an attachment of the file list. I just threw it right in the email. You put that $ variable files in there, and it will get you a listing right in the body of the email. Ending, love Ron, and then we sent it off. This is the function right here, this SMTP, something I carry in a lot of my email files, email-based scripts that I have to send data to someone. You just check for the data you need. Here we check for the files. Then I say, if I got files, send an email, and then you can put this in your task scheduler, and it will send the stuff out. Much nicer than having to go run a command every day. You just check for the data. If you get the data, you act on it, and the email goes out. Always a good idea. Put comments in the top of your scripts. When did you do it? What is it supposed to do? Should you get hit by a bus, it's nice for the next guy to be able to come along and see this script is running on your domain controller and figure out what is it supposed to be doing. The script finished. We had some errors because the email's not set up correctly. But just to show you that the file function did work, I could just echo my files variable down here at the bottom. And there you see it picked up 2 files from my C. And we can go look in my C temp just to verify. And there they are, a couple setup logs from the Config Manager console. So that's it for this one. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and put them in the comment section below. If you'd like me to do anything else, please let me know. And as always, if you can, if you would, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel.